Welcome. This is our first episode of our first season where we talk to emerging Broadway producers about the producer-investor relationship. I had a great conversation with Eric Emauni, an emerging producer, talking about magic moments that make him want to produce and finding investors that have the same goals and values as he shares. Value-based producing. I really enjoyed talking with Eric. He's such a rich, sage soul. I'm really excited to share it with you. I hope you enjoy it. Eric, I'm so excited to welcome you to the podcast. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here and talk with you. This is super fun. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. For those who are listening in, Eric and I met from a mutual producing friend that connected us. And Eric is a producer and he's worked on a variety of projects with a variety of other producers. And what impresses me most about Eric is his authenticity. It is apparent from like the moment we spoke. I was like, such a special soul. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us what made you want to be a producer? Why did you want to get into this crazy field?
My journey to producing has really been interesting because even as a kid, you know, I like to think that I was very like clear about what I wanted to do and like where I wanted to go. So I remember like, you know, at like 16, 17, people asking me like, what is it that you want to do when you're, my answer was always, I want a production company. And everyone like looked at me like, what does that mean? And, you know, like that was the thing that came out of my head when I was 16 and 17. It took a very long time for me to come around to actually putting that into place. So, you know, through high school, undergrad, grad school, I moved through those phases of life as an artist, as an actor. You know, I went to Morehouse for undergrad, studied theater and psychology there. I went to grad school and got my MFA in acting. And that's what moved me to New York. And once I was in New York, you know, I was fully into the acting life gig, like do the auditions, do the workshops, do the things, and I had lived that life. And that was happening right after I got out of grad school. And I would say I was maybe not even a year out of grad school as I was auditioning and doing the things. And just some of those experiences that I was having as an actor weren't really they weren't savory for me, you know. Like I was having these experiences that didn't really make sense, and I was walking into rooms and I'd have to like double take because there was no one that looked like me behind the table, and it was across the board. It didn't matter what kind of production I was going out for. So like I said, it was maybe 8 months after I got out of grad school, I said, I wonder if there's a different way for me to get into this. I wonder if there's a different path that I can take. And I ended up applying for a fellowship and got the fellowship. And I started working at a nonprofit institution in Harlem. And this was like my first job, you know, as not being an actor. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I liked what I was experiencing in terms of the skill set that I was learning and the level of detail of the business that I was able to tap into. And it just kept snowballing from there. So from that institution, you know, I went to work at the Public, Manhattan Theater Club. And then that then snowballed into, okay, what does the commercial producing world look like? So I worked for a few commercial producers, Scott Rudin, Eva Price, and I've just been able to pull all of these things and lessons from all the spaces that I've been in, both in nonprofit, both in the commercial world, and from all of those experiences, I just kind of said, okay, now I have something. I know what the model is. I know how it works. Why don't I just do this myself and figure it out? You know, and that's generally how most people are getting started is, I just want to do it myself. And, you know, like I said, I have been working within the industry for quite a while. And I got to that spot, at the beginning of 2022, and I said, I'm just ready to do it myself and focus on the work that I know is powerful, the work that I know I want to be seeing, that I know the people that I love and in theater want to be seeing. Focus on the work that's good, that speaks to me, and I just did it. I just jumped and went for it.
I really loved how you talked about wanting to do it yourself and creating projects that really inspire you, inspire folks. Like what draws you to a project?
I think one of the main things is, along my journey, you know, because I always say I'm an artist first. I've been fortunate to be able to have really good relationships with other artists, writers, directors, designers, across the gamut. So a lot of the times I'm in the rooms with my friends who are creating their work, and I just happen to be there as a space of support, and that's where I get to see all the magic. I'm never entering into a room as like, hey, I'm the producer, like, let me. That's not how people invite me into a space. They invite me into a space like, hey, friend, can you come and look at this and tell me what you think? And that's where my light bulb goes off at, is when I'm invited into a space as a friend and I see the magic that's happening before there's any gloss put on it. I'm always attracted to the story that really um, that moves me in my seat. And it doesn't have to be uh, a big budget musical to do that. I look for things that tap into my emotions. I want to feel something when I walk into a theater or when I experience theater. I think that for me, that's one of the powers of it, outside of any other medium, is that the emotions that you feel are palpable in that moment with those people in that space. And if I'm just sitting in a black box, I want to be able to feel that too still. That's what lets me know that the thing is good. Like, even if it's in a small intimate space, or I'm in a reading of it, or all the steps that go into building new work, I want to be able to feel that magic right at the beginning, at the very intimate, low stakes level. That's when I know work is good and when I really want to be involved in it.
Eric, you talk about the path of production for a new piece, a play or musical, and feeling that magic from the get-go.
Hmm.
Um, as a producer, we are intrinsically related, entwined with investors, like this producer investor relationship.
Yeah.
And it's really key to any venture. And so, as we talk about producing works, um, what do you look for in an investor?
I really look for someone who trusts the vision that I have. The vision that I have is big, and I try to, when I'm talking to investors anyway, I try to put that in a space where it can just be understood in a few sentences, and in that elevator pitch that you need. But ultimately, I'm looking for someone who, and I want to work with someone who trusts that the business that I'm trying to build, the systems that I'm trying to recreate, the art that I am investing in, even myself, the artists that I trust to be creating those. So I want someone who sees the way that I see in terms of where theater and art can go. For an investor that I want, I need someone that's going to be in it with me for the long run. And when I introduce them to new artists and to new work, they say, okay, we trust his instincts. We know that, his mind and his business are, in the same, are walking in the same space. Um, so I want someone who just really is able to trust my artistic vision, as the producer.
Does it take a lot of conversations to find that right investor?
Yes, it is. It is a relationship. I'm fairly new to producing, so the relationships that I'm forming right now are the ones that are actually really important, because these could be the people that I end up working with for the next 20 years in terms of work that I want to put out into the world. So now is the time that I am really creating and forging really solid connections and relationships with the people that I know understand where I want to take theater and where I want to take art. Um, like I said, for me, it's less about money. Yes, we need it, yes, but the thing for me is to build the relationship, to build the trust, to have to have someone who has that same understanding as me as I'm walking through the world, and it's not just one sided. I introduce you to a piece of art, but that relationship is a two-way street. We both have to be able to water each other and learn from each other, and those are the kinds of relationships that I actually really want.
How do you cultivate those relationships? You talk about being a conversation or a two-way relationship. What do you do to help nurture those relationships?
I'm really I try to be a really easy person to engage with. I'm not. When we started, you described me as authentic, and I try not to make things transactional. That's not how I like to be with people, and that sometimes that is how this business works, and how the investor producer relationship works. I have a different mindset than that. I don't want any piece of the art that I'm creating to feel transactional for anyone. The difference in the way that I approach that is just that. I try to be actually really honest, candid, raw, authentic to everyone that I encounter, that I want to bring into a world that I am building. Because it is just that, and people have to trust that and want to buy into it and want to come along for the ride. I am a year and a half into my producing life and what that looks like. But like I said, I've been able to see the business for what it is for a very long time. So there are a lot of things that I pay very close attention to. One of the things, just bringing it into what is happening in the world right now. The past 3 years, we have been experiencing this pandemic as a collective, as a whole planet. Now, what that has done to the theater industry, it has decimated it. It has flattened it completely. And in that time where theater was not happening, I thought to myself, okay, this is the perfect time that everyone is going to pause, take a look at themselves, take a look at the systems that we're operating in, and really come back invigorated and really, really ready to push the changes that we needed. Progress has happened, but not at the rate that I think it should be happening. Leadership in institutions is still 90% white. Our producers, that are on Broadway are still 90% white. That we should be doing more. We should be doing more in terms of making space and equity and across the board, from producers to write, everything. We have to do more. We have to make more choices, more risky choices, which one of the things that I don't understand is the entire Broadway system is risk. Why would you not make the choice to make more riskier decisions with the work that you put up and the artists that you choose to highlight and the leaders that are at the front of this? You're already taking a risk in doing this. Why is there fear in pushing even further? That in essence, that is what art is supposed to do. It is supposed to break apart the fabric of how we are experiencing society. Theater as a tool is supposed to be a direct reflection of what we are experiencing in the world. Our stories need to actually reflect that. The people that are creating those stories actually need to reflect that. And I think we have so much more work to do before we actually get to practicing equity. Equity right now, it seems to be still a conversation piece. It still seems to be, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Like we should try that. No, how about we do it? Let's practice it with intention in every way and see what that nets us as opposed to what is happening right now. Because right now we are operating in a Broadway system and in a theater system that has worked for the past 100 years. Then the pandemic happened and we have gone right back to that same system, and it's not working. It's not working. You can see that in all of the financials of everything that is moving through theater right now. It's not working. So what can we do different?
What does it feel like when you connect with a right investor to the right project, right? Encapsulating everything that you just described about people who have a different way of looking at it, people who are willing to take stronger risks in an already really risky environment. Like, what does that feel like when you connect with the right investor and the right project?
Oh, I mean, that's a little bit of magic in and of itself. You know, like it's like one of those deep relationships that you have in life. You know, like when you meet someone who aligns with what you think business wise and artistically, that's a moment. You know, and it is rare. Everyone is not going to, you know, have that, and every investor doesn't have to be that. You know, like I want 5 investors that will ride with me until the wheels fall off for the rest of my career. Absolutely. Every investor that I have does not have to be that. And I'm aware that won't happen. But I'm going to push for that, because those are the people that when I start talking art and vision and, you know, ideas on how to impact the world or impact lives in a theater space, they just understand. They just understand. And that's a different feeling to have in conversation and when asking for money than to have to be going up against someone who's like, oh, but what if I don't recoup? Like, yes, those things are important, but like, can we change the world first? Can we start there? What if we started there? I want someone as an investor who really understands the power that art holds, that really, really understands it. Because when we look at history, art is actually the thing that moves us through all of this stuff, that moves us through everything. It's the thing that chronicles every era on this world. We look back at history and we see that artists have been at the forefront of all of those moments in telling our history. That's the power that this holds. Stories hold value. Stories change people. Stories shift people. And I want to get back to that essence of how we are creating art, and how I go after investors, and how I build my business. That's what I'm moving towards. I want it to be the thing that people say, well, what work is he doing that's going to heal the world? I want that to be. I have no doubt that the projects that I will do will garner success and have money and all of those things, but that's not actually why I'm doing it. The work that I want to do is good, absolutely, and I believe that it has a space in the world, but I have to have people that believe in that vision first before they believe, oh, I'm going to make $1 million off of it.
Eric, if finding that right person, the right investor, your 5, can be a process, then in addition to your authenticity, I admire your tenacity. How do you keep yourself going? We've talked about this. Candidly, we've talked about this, but like, how do you keep yourself going?
It actually is. I'm not gonna lie. It is hard. It is really hard. My experiences have been a double-edged sword. I have seen so much of this industry and its inner workings and all of those things, and some of them like beat me up at night. You know, like it angers me at some of the things that I've experienced, at some of the things that I have seen, at some of the things that are still happening. But it also is like, it's the fire underneath me at the same time, because I know that there is a better way to do this. There is a more equitable way to do this. There is a different path that we can take, that we can choose to take. And that's what is the fire underneath me. I'm going to keep fighting for that. I'm going to keep striving for that. And I'm not crazy for that. Like I'm not the only one seeing the things that are wrong, you know, like, so I'm going to keep pushing for what I know can be a possibility. And if I end up at the end of my life and things are still the same, I've still fought for it. I've still gone for it. I've still done everything that I could to make it a better space. So I'm not ever going to like settle for what people are telling me is, you know, supposed to be the model and the system for right now. Like, things change. Things can change. So I'm going to always fight for that. Always.
I saw on your Instagram a quote that says, in order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shape you. And I'm sure that has like a lot of different meanings for you and every aspect of, we're all multifaceted, right? As it relates to producing, how has the experience of finding the right investor shaped you?
I shaped the way that I move through business in a very different lens than a lot of people. I don't believe in failure, because failure means I didn't try. I've never not done that. Like, I'm always going to try. I'm going to go after the projects that I want to go out for. I'm going to ask to be a part of every space that I feel I have access to. I will go to any investor that I can think of to try and bring them into my world. There's no failure in that. There's a lesson. There's always a lesson. And everyone that I go out to as an investor is not going to say yes. That doesn't mean I failed. That means they're not interested in the project. Now it's not the right time. Money's tight. The economy's tanking. The pandemic's happening. Like, there are a million other things that are happening in the world that have nothing to do with me. Have absolutely nothing to do with me. So I don't take a no or a not right now or I'm not. I don't take those things personally. But I'm going to always try. And that is I will always have a lesson from that. And that's how I am trying to move about building right now, even as I am, you know, building my investor pool and seeing who's interested in the work that I'm doing. I'm just going to always ask. I'm going to always put myself out there, and with the quality of the work that I know that I want to do. And I know that there are people out there that absolutely understand that. And at some point, I will be in a space where more people understand that, and that's what I will work for.
Final question.
Yes.
And then we'll let you shout out what projects you're excited about. Finally, what advice would you give to emerging producers?
It's two-part, and I don't want it to sound cliche either, but to be actually passionate about the work that you want to be doing. There's a balance of, you know, yes, business and commerce and all of that, but like, if you're not passionate about the work that you're doing, if you don't believe in the shows that you're being a part of, if you don't believe in the artists that you're choosing to work with, wrong thing to do it for. You know, like, really, really be passionate about the stories that you're telling. It shows in the processes that you make. It will show in the final moments of what's on that stage. You know, if the producer at the top line is not passionate about the work that they're doing, then you're going to be able to tell when it hits the stage. It doesn't matter what money you throw at it or what team you throw at it. If you at the core of it are not passionate about it, don't do it. Don't do it. Wait until you feel that thing, that spark, that where your heart can't stop beating because of it. Wait until you have that before you start asking people for money. And the other piece of it is producing is a long game. It's not an easy. It's not this easy thing to just hop into and do. And it's taken me a very long time to get to the beginnings of what I am doing right now. So the other piece of be passionate about what you're doing is have a plan. I've heard a lot of people say, just do it, just do it, And there's a piece of me that did do that, but it was very planned. It was very planned. I went into the spaces that I wanted to learn from, and I pulled out all of the information that I needed. And I did all of that with intention. And it took me some years to do that. And when I was ready, I took the leap. Have a plan. Always have a plan. Always, 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 always have a plan. Because the industry in itself is hard enough to navigate and hard enough to sink your teeth into and do the work that you want to do than to be trying to stay afloat at the same time. Even as I am launching my business and producing at the same time, I have a full-time job. I have other things that I'm doing that sustain me and keep me full, because I have to, make sure you have those things for yourself always, so that you can, when you can, focus your energy on the work that you're passionate about. And one more thing, to have a very clear practice for yourself in terms of self-care, taking time away from this, have something that is outside of this work, because taking care of yourself, if the last 3 years have taught us nothing, taking very good care of yourself is paramount, and it is important. If your cup is not full, you cannot give to anyone else.
Eric, thank you. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for all the authenticity, all of the tenacity, all of the wellness that you bring to each space. I have so much respect and admiration for you for that. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Tell folks where they can find you, website, Instagram, what's the best way to find you, and then a shout out to a project you're really looking forward to. You get the last word.
Well, thank you for inviting me on. I'm so happy to be your first guest. I hope that this is such a journey of love for you. It's amazing. I'm really, really excited to see everything that you're able to do with this. So congratulations for one, and thank you for having me on. And where people can find me, my Instagram is Iconic Vizion, Iconic ICONIC, Vision VIZION, and my website is iconicvizion.com. It will be launched very soon. So everything that is about my company and myself are on those two platforms. I only have IG and the website. I don't do anything else. And a project that I am really, really excited about, that I really want people to go see, is Ain't No Mo. Ain't No Mo is written by Jordan Cooper. It had a sold-out run, a beautiful run in 2019 at the Public Theater, and it is a hilarious, beautiful, heart-wrenching story. It is the exact kind of work that I believe can change people or make people think and make people laugh, and it's a good time. It's a good time. It opens in December, and it'll be running until March. So I want people to go out and see it and support it. And Jordan is an amazing writer. He stars in the show as well. So he is a talent, a true talent. And this entire cast is phenomenal. The cast, the director, every piece of this play is a masterpiece for me. So I want people to go see it and support it. It's a beautiful story.